But why not just take that opportunity to segue right into the fact that it is Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday. Math Tuesday.
It's Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
On Texas Football Today, an opportunity for us to dive inside the numbers of football across the state of Texas. And today, we're going to do a fun one.
It's always fun.
We're going to do an even more fun than usual one.
Oh, wow.
And that is to talk about the best first-year coaches in Texas high school football. If you go to texasfootball.com right now, you can find all of the Texas high school football coaching changes from across the state of Texas. And every year, there's a lot of turnover, as you can probably imagine. Last year, actually, Pickle, let me see if you know this.
Okay.
Do you know last year how many UIL Texas high school football 11-man coaching changes there were? So there were 1,000. I can get you a number. There were oh my gosh, hold on. There were 1,006 UIL 11-man teams that played last year, so that we were tracking.
Was it like? There's two numbers, and I don't know why. It was either, I thought 176 or 214. Are either of those accurate?
Wow. Kinda. 215 is the number.
Oh, man.
215. Now, that includes, I want to be clear about this.
Uh-huh.
That includes things like Prosper Walnut Grove.
Okay, which would be a new school.
So that counts with that. Thorpe and Crawford as well. But, yes, 215
Man, that was
UIL
awesome.
11-man Texas high school football coaching changes. So 215 new coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of them obviously moving from one school to the other,
Mm-hmm.
others getting their first opportunity to be a head coach. We're talking about coaches coaching their first year at a new school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I love doing this segment because I think this gives us some insight on some of like the rising stars and some of the real, like, you get two types of coaches in this, I think. You get the rebuild artists,
Mm-hmm.
the people who like can come into a bad situation or a less than favorable situation and immediately start turning it around.
Right.
And you also get, I think, the real like sleeper coaches, like the coaches that maybe you don't necessarily think about that are maybe the next big stars of the Texas high school football coaching community. And so what I want to do, there's four different categories I want to talk about. First of all, we're going to take a look at the biggest, widest swath, which is the one thing that matters most, which is the number of wins.
Mm-hmm.
And so the coaches that won the most number of games in their first year at their school. Plain and simple. It's a basic measurement. And not surprising, Robbie Jones at Aledo tops the list.
He did that thing.
16-0. No notes, coach. He's undefeated as a head coach. He is by that metric, he is the greatest Texas high school football coach to ever live.
Correct.
He went 16-0, perfect.
He is 100%.
Could not have done it any better. Not far behind him, 15-1. Willie Gaston, head coach at Galena Park North Shore, took over the Mustangs, got them to a state championship game, fell short to Duncanville in the title game. Canadians up next, right, with Andy Cavalier taking over for Chris Ketting. He goes 14-1 in a run to the state semifinals. Mm-hmm. John Murphy, maybe underrated there. John Murphy, what he did at Stratford, taking over the Elks and going 14-1, I believe was his final. Yeah, 14-1 was his final record. Richland Springs, Sean Rogers took over there. Obviously, a lot of turmoil in the coaching situation there, but he took over, got them to 13 wins. Brownsville Veterans Memorial coach J.C. Ramirez, his first year, a run to the state semifinal, an historic run for Veterans Memorial. Colleyville Heritage, Jerry Edwards took over at Colleyville Heritage and went from Killeen Harker Heights to Heritage and did great things. Won 12 games. Same thing with Melvin Robinson at Red Oak. Won 12 games. So for these guys, as far as the best first-year head coaches in Texas high school football, it's hard to argue with this list.
Right, yeah.
They won a bunch of games. However, I would make to you a small argument, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at some of these teams, okay? Aledo, North Shore,
Canadian, Richland
Stratford
Springs.
even, right? Richland Springs. These are powerhouses.
Oh, yeah.
These are programs that are in very good shape, and these guys are taking over. I am not taking anything away from these guys.
No.
That is a lot harder than it looks, And I think there's this notion of people that like anybody can step into that driver's seat and win. That's not true. These are great coaches who did great work in 2023.
But what I can tell you is that when I talked to Robbie Jones prior to the state championship, and I said, Coach, have you done anything differently? He goes, Pickle, why would I do anything differently? He goes, it works. So like they're the first to admit like, yeah, I'm going to put my own twist on a couple of things, but like, no, the routine's the routine. We're not switching it.
Yes, absolutely. And so for these guys, no notes, but I want to look at another group of guys, and I want to talk about guys who took over a program and got them immediately back on the right track, got them trending in the right direction. So we're going to take the number of games they won in 2022 before they arrived and look at the number of games they won in 2023 after they arrived. And this is a different list that actually only has one guy that kind of
crosses over.
By this metric, as far as increase in win total, Overton head coach Scotty Lamance did better than anybody else. Took over a 2-9 team, went 10-2. 8 more wins than they had before he arrived. Agua Dulce, I think underrated what Jason Calvez was able to do there. Went from 3-7 to 9-3, did Agua Dulce. Cedar Hill, I remember when Nick Ward got hired, there was a lot of wringing of hands. Remember, it was a bit of a circus as far as the hiring process is concerned. Well, the proof is in the pudding. He took a 2-8 team and won 6 more games. And
that's a program where there's a lot of pressure because they were fed up at that point, and they were ready for some change. So he had a mountain on his back.
And obviously 6 more wins than they did the year before. And then what Michael Trevino did at Lytle, 6 more wins than they did the year before. And then you've got this group of guys that won 5 more games than their predecessor did when they got there. Harold, I think way underrated what Shad Walker did in his first year there at Harold. Houston Wisdom, Vicente Herrera did an unbelievable job with the Generals, getting them from 2-8 to 7-3. Little River Academy, Mark Mullins took over a 5-6 program, got them to that 10-win plateau at 10-3.
In one of the toughest regions in the state, pound for pound.
Absolutely. Lubbock Roosevelt. Coach Carter Robinson did an unbelievable job from 4-7 to 9-4. You look at Richland Springs. It's important to remember that Richland Springs went just 8-2 in 2022. By their standards, like a really underwhelming season. And you see what Sean Rogers was able to do and get them back to kind of that upper echelon, that elite tier of 6-man football. And then Schulenburg, the Shorthorns, what Luke Hobbs did to take over an 0-10 team and get them to 5 wins and a playoff berth is awfully impressive. So those are the guys who improved their win total the most. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper, and we're going to kind of break this thing down on sides of the ball. What about on the offensive side? What coaches stepped in and immediately got their offenses going and made the biggest leap offensively from what they took over? And the answer is, to me, there are 2 guys who really made that big leap. Groover, Coach Kurt Habither did an unbelievable job from 19 points a game to nearly 43. That's a truly remarkable offensive boost. They were okay offensively, not great, and then they were a juggernaut, were the Greyhounds. Sweeney, Jay Seibert, he did unbelievable jobs at Rockport Fulton, and now at Sweeney, an immediate lift to basically more than triple their offensive output from 10.5 points a game to 33.5 points a game. Charles Burton makes the move from Austin ISD to Pflugerville Connolly and does unbelievable work. Goes 15.1 points per game to 33.5. You went from basically an output that you cannot win with to you can win any game.
Yep.
There. Did Pflugerville Connolly coach Charles Burton. Josh McKitty at Electra took over one of the most woeful offenses in Texas and got them to respectability, up 19.3 points per game. Houston Wisdom, Vicente Herrera on that list again. Same with Overton with Scotty Lamance. Bridge City, Chad Landry did a terrific job taking a Bridge City offense that was stuck in the mud and getting them to respectability, getting to a point where they can win, up 15.4 points per game. Lonnie Madison took over a Bridgeland program that had really struggled in 2022 and got them to 40 points a game.
Which was like the Bridgeland we were used to seeing for a handful of years.
Absolutely, yeah, when they had Connor Wigman. Friendswood coach Jordan Johnson did unbelievable work there in his first year at Friendswood. And then finally, Wolf City, Brad Smithy goes up 2 touchdowns a game was Wolf City, as Brad Smithy made a huge leap. So offensively, these were guys who stepped in and immediately made that big leap offensively. What I want to do now is I want to take a look on the defensive side. Which team lowered their points allowed per game average the most in this in their first year at the helm? And the winner is Ruben Garcia at Kingsville King, and what he was able to do there from 45 points a game to 20. That is, to go 25-point improvement per game is simply stunning.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. I mean, I want you to think about this. If you're a team that's given up 45 points a game, you just can't win. Like, I'm sorry.
No.
It's just that's not
There's
a winning
no
formula.
way.
You just can't win. At 20 points a game, you're in every game. Your defense is going to hold you in every game. The Kingsville King defense went from a liability to an asset. Same thing with Maypearl. Marty Amarine did an unbelievable job. 47.8 points a game down to 23. A 25-point improvement, basically. Ponder, our friend Marcus Scholes, what he did. And the numbers may be like it's still not amazing. And I'm sure Coach will tell you that we got work to do. But to go from 55 points a game down to 34, like 3 fewer touchdowns per game. Again, you're getting to a point where you can win with that.
On top of that, that's a district that puts up a lot of points. Like, they naturally put up a lot of points. So holding 34, I mean, you're in every game almost.
Darius Lewis at Houston Scarborough did a fantastic job. Houston Wisdom, Vicente Herrera gets on there again. Jay Seibert, we saw on the previous list there. At Sweeney, I mean, an overall just revolution he's got there. Scotty Layman's on this list as well. Riesel, Coach Robert Little did a terrific job there. 16-point improvement. Same with Kent Laster taking over at Denton Braswell. And then Colt Bradford, in his first year there at Bullard, oversaw a 15-point per game improvement defensively. And so, look, who were the best coaches and first-year coaches in Texas high school football? It kind of depends on how you cut it. But what I like about doing this and this segment is it gives us an opportunity to identify teams that I think the trajectory is very clearly heading in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like these are programs. Again, this is not taking anything away from Robbie Jones. Robbie Jones did a terrific job at Aledo. These are guys that, if you're just measuring it on who won state championships, look, Kingsville King didn't win a state championship.
Correct.
But you can tell that what Ruben Garcia is doing there at Kingsville King is moving in the right direction. You can tell that what Scotty Lamans is doing at Overton is moving in the right direction. Jay Seibert at Sweeney, what they're doing is working. Marcus Scholes at Ponder, it's working. And so I like this because I think this is a bit of a canary in the coal mine of which programs are heading in the right direction. And so these coaches, with what they were able to do in their first year, it's remarkable, and I'm fascinated to see what they do in year 2 at their programs. So there you go, a look at the best first-year coaches in Texas high school football on Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.